Here with Alexander Motorsport. Today we're working on a Audi A4. We're doing a big brake kit. Well, the brake kit's been already installed, so the customer needs pads and rotors. This kit comes from ECS Tuning. It utilizes a fixed caliper setup. I think off of a Porsche Cayenne, I want to say. Not too sure, but definitely is a Porsche 4-piston Brembo caliper. And the rotor that we're utilizing is off of a Porsche also. The only difference here is that it's a 2-piece rotor, so you have to use the ECS tuning adapter plate for the A4 1.8 Quattro hub. So other than that, I mean, the kit's bolts right up. It's already, like I said, it's already on the car. I'll show you guys what I had to do because the customer again needed new pads and rotors. So you didn't have to buy the you had to buy the whole rotor from Porsche, but then you have to swap over the adapter plate because it is a 2-piece setup. And I'll show you our 2-piece rotor. It's a Porsche rotor. I don't know if it's what model it comes off. I'm pretty sure it comes off of the Cayenne, the SUV. But what happens is, since it's a 2-piece rotor, as you can see, you got your rotor and then you have your hat. And here's the hardware for it. I had to take the hat off the original rotor because you have to put this ECS tuning adapter plate on here for the Audi hub. All hardware, you know, came from the new rotor. Loctite it and properly torqued them, so allowing for expansion for that heat. Also, if you notice, they are directional, left cross drilled, vented. You see the big L there for its direction. The reason being is because the cooling fins inside the rotor are directional. If you look down here, you can see they need to be in the direction of rotation to help that air come in and out and cool the rotor efficiently. So that's the rotor that we're putting on. Again, the special thing here is this ECS tuning adapter plate for the 1.8 hub. Now let's take a look at the car. I don't know how well the light is, but try to generate some light for you guys. So I cleaned the hub up. Again, you want to try to clean the hub up as best as possible. You don't want any high spots there when you're mounting that rotor. If you look here, it is a 4-piston fixed caliper, Porsche caliper. Bleeder screws on both sides. We'll get into bleeding once I get everything on. But and if you notice in here, this is a lot of guys don't pick up on this, the piston size. So if you look at the piston size, the top piston is larger than the lower piston, and that's due to the way they designed that is for outgassing. So when the pad starts to outgas, it literally tries to walk off the rotor, so losing surface area and also pad wear. So what happens is that top piston, obviously greater surface area, is going to have more clamping force than that lower piston. And this way it helps to get a better bite on the overall rotor and pads, pad to rotor surface, so that you're getting as much surface area as possible. And, you know, with that outgassing effect with the cross drill rotors, you kind of minimize that as well. So, but that's generally why they design these, fixed calipers like that, with the larger and smaller diameters for outgassing. So really good, high performance setup. Excellent for, track use and, aggressive, street drive. So again, that's the aftermarket caliper bracket that would affix to the knuckle. And again, the caliper just slides on and off this unit here. Pretty nice setup. So I'll show you guys when it's all mounted up. But again, the car, this has been on the car, so you know, it's nothing new. But I just wanted to show you what you have to do in order to put new rotors on this puppy. The pad that we're going with is a look here. It's actually a Hawk pad. And if you're not familiar with pads, most of the pads are labeled with the, you know, obviously you got your Hawk, which is your manufacturer. And then you got this number right here, which is the compound of the material of the pad. And then this is your coefficient of friction. So the FF meaning your coefficient of friction of what compound this pad is, or what temperature range that this pad works ideally at. I don't know FF offhand. But if you guys at home want to look it up, that's definitely right here, your coefficient of friction rating. So it gives you your temperature range at what ideally this pad will work at. Again, some pads operate at a higher temperature than others. Some are better for track use. Some are better for street use, but that's what we're going with. Hawk HPS brake pad. Okay. Well, it's Chris. Stay tuned. I'll have this put on the car, and then we'll go into a little bleeding procedure, how to bleed the fixed caliper setup with the 2 bleeder screws properly. Stay tuned. Bye. Okay, we got our rotor caliper back on. Now I'm going to show you how to bleed these brakes. Again, it's a fixed caliper, so you got bleeder screws on both sides of the caliper. I don't know if you can see that in there, but so you got this bleeder screw on the inner and this bleeder screw on the outer. Now they always want you to bleed from the outer in, but since I have a Motive brake bleeder that I'm going to be using, again I got the Motive brake bleeder, .4 brake fluid. You know, Audi, any German vehicle usually utilizes .4, and that is just the higher boiling points and for a more spirited driver. Again, you know, Germany has the Autobahn, so you know you got hotter brakes out in Germany. Now the best brake fluid is this brake fluid right here, which is a .5.1, new to the market. What it is you could usually get .5 in synthetic, but now what they're doing is they're making a non-synthetic base, so a glycol based .5 brake fluid for more race applications. So this is the new latest and greatest .5.1. Again, non-synthetic or non-silicone based. I'm sorry, non-silicone based. So therefore, you can run it in your ABS control units and your newer vehicles. The old synthetic brake fluids, what happened was you could run it in a race car, but on the street with ABS, once the ABS pump activates, you start agitating the brake fluid, and therefore you would develop air in the system and spongy pedal. So, but now with that 5.1, it's a glycol base, so you can utilize it. All right, so we got everything hooked up. Again, here's your new rotor, ECS tuning adapter plate, Porsche big brake kit on a 1.8. All right, so let's. I'm gonna start to bleed. I know I don't want to bore you with bleeding, but again, I'm gonna start with the outer screw. Technically, you're supposed to be starting from the back. You know, left rear of the car, then right rear of the car, then back to the front. But for right now, I'm just doing like a brake flush, and I want to get all that old fluid out of these calipers. So, you know, kind of shortcutting it here. But technically, again, start from the left rear, right rear, work your way up to the passenger front, and then finally driver front there. Also, another thing, if you're doing a proper brake flush, I mean, if I had a VACCOM here with me, I would cycle the ABS control unit to get that ABS pump working, so that I could also get all the old fluid out of that pump, any air that's in that pump, get out. So again, thanks for watching. Chris with Alexander Motorsports. So stay tuned for further updates on projects. All right, take care.